It is Saturday, the 5th of September 2020. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on Channel 1 Weekend. It's always great to have you join us for a comprehensive coverage of all the day's events that have been happening, not just here in the country, but also across our neighboring borders. I hope you had yourself a fantastic day and you're keeping safe, washing your hands, sanitizing, staying at home where you can, because coronavirus is still in the country. So far, Kenya has reported 35,020 cases of COVID-19 since March, from a sample size of 471,000. And of course, the numbers keep increasing, but the curve seems to be slowing. But you should be keeping safe, because the Minister of Health says we are not out of the woods and we should not bring our guards down. That's the latest and top of our Channel 1 News Weekend tonight. We still have much more. Stay tuned for that. You can interact with us by tweeting us on Facebook, on Twitter. We are live on YouTube as well. Use the hashtag Channel 1 Weekend to talk to us on Twitter at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. Channel 1 News Weekend begins right now with the day's highlights. The numbers continue to drop as Kenya records 136 new coronavirus infections from 3,707 samples tested in the last 24 hours. Not out of the woods yet, IGAD warns northern Kenya counties at risk of desert locust swarms invasion. And it is glory for Kenya with Peres Jepchirchir breaking women world half marathon record in Prague, Czech Republic. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Purity Museo and Byron Abuli is our sign language interpreter tonight. Let's now get started. And the country on Saturday reported 136 coronavirus infections from a sample size of 3,707 tested in the last 24 hours. And of course, the number of infections have now risen to 35,020. 124 cases of Kenyans are Kenyans. Of 136, of course, 124 are Kenyans, while 12 foreigners and 5 more patients succumbed to COVID-19 disease in the same period, while 99 others recovered. Saturday, Kenya reported 136 cases of the novel coronavirus, bringing the total number of infections since March this year to 35,020. The new cases are from a sample size of 3,707, and the cumulative samples tested so far stand at 471,384. From the new infections, 124 are Kenyans, while 12 foreigners. 85 of Kenya's new infections being male and 51 females. The youngest is an 8-year-old infant, while the oldest 75. Nairobi continues to lead with 35 cases. Mombasa recorded 25 new infections. Kajiado 11, Turkana and Kisumu 9 cases each. Migori recording 8 cases. Nyandarua and Kilifi recorded 7 cases each. Embu 6, Uasin Gishu 4, Busia and Kisii 3 cases each. Baringo and Kakamega 2 cases each, while Elgeyo Marakwet, Tharaka Nithi, Kiambu, Kitui and Trans Nzoia a case each. In Nairobi, the 35 cases were from Lang'ata, Makadara, Starehe, Westlands, Kasarani, Dagoretti South, Embakasi West, Kibra, Dagoretti North, Embakasi Central, Embakasi East, Embakasi North, Embakasi South, Mathare, Roysambu and Ruaka. A total of 99 patients were discharged in the last 24 hours, 64 from home-based care program and 35 from various hospitals. The total number of recoveries now stand at 21,158. 5 patients have also succumbed from the COVID-19 disease. The total number of those who have lost the battle to the deadly disease now stands at 594.
Going forward, vaccines on COVID-19, we have a good number of promising ones. They will only be used when they're found to be effective and safe. That's what I would like to assure the world. They can build narratives to fight against vaccines, but the track record of vaccines tells its own story. And people should not be confused by a movement, anti-vax movement, but they can have a look for themselves on how the world actually used vaccines to reduce under 5 mortality, to save children, and to have successful eradication of diseases like smallpox.
WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom on Friday further advised that with a mix of targeted and tailored measures, further national lockdowns can be avoided. He termed lockdowns a blunt instrument that have taken a heavy toll in many countries. Kenya is being warned to brace for another locust invasion in the current rainy season. A statement by the Intergovernmental Authority on Development says the rains will provide fodder, and the significant impact to both crops and rangelands is very high due to the sustained multiplying storms and likelihood of the insects migrating. IGAD says the locusts are a danger to most agro-pastoral areas in late vegetative and reproductive stages of the crop development. Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia and Sudan are currently still experiencing desert locust invasion with high intensity in Ethiopia and Somalia. Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, warning of more desert locust swarms with the counties of Marsabit, Turkana, Samburu, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Baringo, Laikipia, Isiolo, Mandera and Wajir at high risk. The desert locust swarms are projected to move from Samburu to Turkana and Marsabit and West Pokot areas before finding their way into Uganda, with most of the invasion dependent on forecasted conditions, wind movement, and existing vegetation conditions suitable for invasion. IGAD says a drier than usual season is expected in most parts of Africa, and when wind directions shift in the month of October, November and December at the backdrop of lesser vegetation, the multiplication for desert locust may be hindered. IGAD's warning coming at a time when the Meteorological Department has warned of weak rains in the impending short rains across the country. Western Kenya, however, may receive below average rainfall. The weatherman attributed the weak rains to affected Indian Ocean dipole that will not favor good rainfall in most parts of East Africa. Meanwhile, rains are expected to pound most parts of the country starting from Saturday night to Sunday night, with short sunny intervals Sunday afternoon. Already the rains are claiming lives, with the flooded Molo River sweeping away 2 people at the border of Baringo and Nakuru counties. It is reported that the 2 were crossing the flooded river when the gushing waters near Daraja Mungu cut short their journey.
Jana ndio nilipata habari kuwa kuna mtu aliona mtu anafanana na yeye kuwa ameteleza kwa mto. Jioni ndio tukakutana na ndugu yake na akanieleza vile ilikuwa, na mwenye aliona yeye ni kama anamjua kwa sura. Ndio tukajua inaweza kuwa ni yeye.
Kwa sababu sio haki kabisa watu wasombwe na maji kwa jambo ambalo linaweza kufanyika kitu kidogo. Daraja ya kufukia kwa mguu si expensive, but imecost sasa watu 10. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuuliza serikali zetu za county, both Baringo na Nakuru, wafanye jambo haraka iwezekanavyo.
So far, the flooded river has claimed 5 lives as search for the 2 bodies continue. Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News. Remember to send in your feedback and opinion on both our Facebook and Twitter accounts. KBC is KBC Channel 1 News on both Twitter and Facebook, and my personal accounts, Purity Museo on Facebook and Purity_Museo on Twitter. And I'll be glad to sample your feedback. You already tweeting. Joseph Felix War, you tuned in from Migori County. Thank you so much for watching. Samson Villa, you're saying Imbo Majengo, that's where you tuned in from. Opio Polycarp, you're also watching from Kisumu County. And Mwangi Jr., you're saying from Embakasi, tuned in. Thank you, Bobo Wino, also from Konambaya in Kisumu. Keep talking to us, keep tweeting. I'll be going through your feedback even before the tail end of this broadcast. To some political news, Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko says that the intensified war on corruption, which has seen several governors indicted and barred from office, should be extended to the cabinet. Sonko has argued that cabinet secretaries are not above the law, thus must be held responsible whenever they fail to account for budgetary allocations to their dockets.
Governor Mike Sonko has come to the defense of his fellow county bosses, some of whom have borne the brunt of the renewed crusade on graft. Sonko says the anti-graft dragnet must be cast wider to target some senior government officials.
Hatutaki kuona magavana wakishikwa peke yake, Mheshimiwa Rais. Pale Nairobi kuna shule inaitwa Ruaraka Primary. Serikali ilipoteza 1.5 billion na kuna mawaziri walikula hiyo pesa na bado kwa serikali yetu ya saizi.
Sonko, who is one of the governors currently barred from office, urged the president to move with speed and reorganize his cabinet and kick out all corrupt cabinet secretaries to enhance service delivery. The Nairobi governor was speaking in Rata village in Seme sub-county during the burial of footballer Kevin Oliech.
Live your life as of today, not tomorrow. It is the isness of things that count, not the oughtness of things that count.
Meanwhile, a section of Western Kenya leaders has called for a speedy solution to the revenue-sharing impasse. Led by Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, the leaders said that the deadlock risks plunging counties into an irreversible financial crisis.
Na waomba nyote pia muombe Spika wetu Lusaka, maseneta wetu wote, Mungu awape hekima. Wiki lijalo waweze kupitisha ile formula ambayo itahitajika kuhakikisha kuna ugavi wa pesa za Kenya na pesa ziwe released ziende kwenye counties. Service delivery should not and must not be disrupted.
Meanwhile, Migori County Assembly Speaker Boaz Okoth has expressed fears for his life over the impending impeachment of the Governor Okoth Obado.
I do not debate in the House. I do not vote in the House. I only preside over the House. The level of desperation that I'm now being attacked, and I'm not a party to this. This is what I want to share with the public. I said I'm a sick person. My leg was grafted. I've been down in pain all this long. When somebody is still doing this to me, I have nothing to do with this debate.
The speaker, who has since recorded a statement with the police, says some hired goons attacked his home on Friday night, hours after he was arrested in the presence of ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna. The seven, as the leader of the majority party in the Migori County Assembly, Ken Edward Ouma, told Channel 1 that the ODM party will on Tuesday begin the process of impeaching Governor Okoth Obado.
We don't want to say that it's a walkover. No, it can't be a walkover because, you know, we're also exposed to so many things. So long as we follow process and procedure, the motion will be in the assembly. As it is, the required number for bringing the motion is not the 38. It's different from part of the motion, of the impeachment motion.
Ouma said the ODM party is determined to recall the embattled governor. For Channel 1 News, I am Edward Kabasa.
It is no secret the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted life and livelihoods of many worldwide. Kenya is no different, and for rural communities, the impact of the pandemic cuts across all spheres of life, including culture. Now, the following report indicates or reveals how pastoralist communities have been affected and their response to the new challenge. Take a look. In the Rift Valley region, a number of communities have for years led a pastoralist lifestyle. This way of life is, however, slowly fading away. In March this year, the first COVID-19 case was reported in the country. And to contain the spread of the deadly virus, the government put in place a raft of measures, including restriction of movement and a dusk to dawn curfew. Now, pastoralists are embracing this new normal. In Kapkuikui village, Baringo County, we meet Justin Komen.
Mimi ni mkulima. Nimefanya FMNR ambayo ni Farmer Manage Natural Regeneration.
Komen tells us he is a beneficiary of the Farmers Managed Natural Regeneration FMNR, a project by the World Vision Kenya, which focuses on the systematic regrowth of existing trees and self-sown seeds.
This project is called Farmer Managed Natural Regeneration, which is a concept developed somewhere in Niger. And it states that when you actually fence an area, then trees, grass will naturally regenerate. So Baringo really has a lot of challenges in terms of land degradation. It's one of the major challenges in this area, and that is compounded by also the fact that of climate change, and then generally the area is arid.
Mbeleni kabla FMNR ilikuwa fingumu kulisha ng'ombe during dry spell.
The simple act of pruning trees, regrowth, and managing land sustainably, he says, has turned small shrubs and stumps into mature trees, promoting soil restoration while increasing crop yield, firewood, and livestock fodder.
Una select miti, ina faida gani kwako? Alafu unachagua hiyo mti juu iko na sababu yenye inakupea faida. So baada ya hiyo selection kuna vifaa ambayo inatumika kama vile panga na tunaitanga dunga. So kuna baada ya kuselect unatoa chafu yenye iko chini yake, alafu una prune upwards, alafu isithuru mti.
His cattle also produce more milk.
So mbeleni nilikuwa napata lita 3, lita 1 kwa kila ng'ombe. But baada ya FMNR juu nimelisha ng'ombe, wanatoa maziwa lita 9. Yeah. So nachukua zingine nauza nipate mapato, alafu zingine napea watoto.
Komen says he has gained so much knowledge and is paying it forward by teaching other community members.
Mti ukimea na ukue mzuri huwa inasaidia mmonyoko wa udongo. Ya pili, nyazi inamea. Ya 3, unapata kifuli, yani shade. Then kwa hiyo mti bado unapata, mama anapata kuni.
In the same village, we find Simon Chesang, who believes that in a balanced ecosystem, people and animals thrive, and the reverse happens if the balance is lost.
Niko na ng'ombe yenye inakula hii nyasi na kukaa nyumbani, napata mapato mzuri kwa sababu atembei ananipatia maziwa ya kutosha.
Chesang too is promoting reforestation by growing pasture for livestock. which he sells to other pastoralists.
Mimi nikajaribu, nikafunga shamba yangu, nikafanya stone dressing, alafu nikapatiwa mbegu na World Vision, nikapanda, pata mzuri, mvua ikakuja, ikatoka mzuri, ikamea, nikapalilia, alafu baadaye nikafuna mbegu, alafu nikaanza kuuza.
Of concern, however, is that the COVID-19 pandemic, notwithstanding climate change, continues to worsen the problem of lack of pasture for pastoralist communities.
Baringo is one of the 23 ASAL counties we have in Kenya. 80% of the county is in arid, and by so it is prone to droughts.
Nevertheless, Komen and Chesang continue to lead their communities by example and for a worthy cause.
Tunajua jinsi ya harvest nyasi. Tulikuwa tunaajilia ng'ombe inakula ikimaliza imeisha tu hivyo.
Vile ng'ombe yangu hawa wawili wako nyumbani, nikisikia outbreak of disease, unaona hakuna afiki kwangu. Atanipatia nafasi ya kuchanja na kuzuia hiyo ugonjwa kabla haijafika.
The livestock sector in the world is dynamic. In developing countries like Kenya, the sector is evolving in rapid response of the high demand of the livestock products, therefore important to embrace and technique that would boost the sector. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News, Kapkwikwi, Marigat, Baringo County. And Enos Omodi, you are tuned in and streaming through our Facebook page. And Godi Washinyalu, you're also saying you're watching Channel 1 Weekend, Upper Hill, Nairobi. That's where Moyo Moyo, Lanchevin, you're tuned in from. Thank you so much. We're taking our first commercial break. Do stay with us. We still have plenty more to come.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima.
Sasa mimi huwa tunaenda nikikamua ng'ombe wangu, ninapima maziwa lita 1, natengeneza na 20 liters of water na sabuni. Sasa na isikizi hivi sabuni natoka povu, nikiweka nikinyunyizia mimea yangu haiwezi haribika.
Jiunge nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa uondo kamili.
Next on.
The doctor said she has to stay in bed for a few days.
For my baby brother, right?
Yes, that's right, Diego.
And then I'll be able to take care of him, right?
We'll both take care of him. I'll be living with you in the meantime.
Yeah!
I've been so busy I didn't have time to enjoy my youth.
Well, it's never too late to get it back.
Oh.
What do you want?
I'd like to talk.
About what?
How are you supporting yourself?
That's none of your business.
Oh, Osvaldo, please, let's forget it all already.
In love with Ramon.
We need this win, Wanjala. You have to win.
They are fearless, yet friendly.
I hope Paula machungu after ile game ya mwisho.
I'm allowed to be concerned about you, Wanjala. I'm your wife.
I will take good care of you. Fierce, yet fair.
Pa combo sasa. Pop. Toza kidogo. Pop pop.
Firm, yet faultless.
You embarrassed mom. All of us.
But it would be nice if someone would look out for me too.
You don't listen to me.
Because you always want to tell me how to...
Jemo unadu nini hapa?
You are embarrassing me.
Kona, Kenya's daily drama.
Taina train ya tuna muhimu sana kwa life yangu. Kwa hivyo vile mimi nafanya hapa ni upuzi.
Naweza kukusaidia kujua ni akina nani?
Mimi siwezi chukua msaada kutoka kwa Satan.
What is this?
It's a make or break chance.
Your fun, fabulous full team of Kona. Every fine weekday, right here on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. The Nyandarua County government has launched an ambitious vaccination program targeting over 386,000 animals. Speaking after launching the program in Mirangine sub-county, Governor Francis Kimemia said that the initiative is aimed at improving the animal production in the agricultural-rich county. The vaccination exercise targets foot and mouth and lumpy skin diseases, among others.
Farmers in Nyandarua County have a reason to smile after Nyandarua County government launched an ambitious program to vaccinate over 386,000 animals against foot and mouth disease, lumpy skin disease and rabies. Governor Francis Kimemia says the initiative aims at improving the animal production in the area.
We are second in the country, producing just about 8 liters per animal or 10 liters per animal. So you can imagine when we move the scales to 20 liters per animal, that is the target, and that is still low.
The program, which is in partnership with the World Bank under the Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project, has seen various vaccines worth 27 million shillings procured. The animals targeted are cows which will be vaccinated against foot and mouth disease and lumpy skin disease, while dogs, cats and donkeys will be vaccinated against rabies.
We also vaccinated donkeys, we have vaccinated dogs and cats, and I'm sure those who are pigs will also be supported so that this country can be able to improve.
The Nyandarua County Board at the same time said that its administration has set aside 100 million shillings this financial year to put up a milk processing plant in the county.
We are constructing a factory for milk this year. We have already put in the budget 100 million shillings, and we have also put in 200 million shillings, 220 million shillings for the potato processing plant. We are already constructing the cold storages in the county. So all these value chains go together. They go hand in hand.
They actually affect the animals by decreasing production. And also you notice that even after the animal gets sick, it does not recover the level of production it had within that whole lactation. So that production is a big waste, and because of this vaccination, we are sure you have a healthy herd.
Timothy Kipnoso for Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, the wildlife poisoning and human-wildlife conflict have been cited as major threats to survival of vultures in the country. The Kenya Wildlife Services is concerned that poisoning accounts for 61% of the deaths of the endangered species. This revelation coming as the world marked the International Vultures Awareness Day celebrated on the first Saturday of September. Timothy Kipnusu comes back with that report.
In Kenya, national celebrations to mark International Vultures Awareness Day were hosted in Hell's Gate National Park, Naivasha. The day is set aside to raise awareness of the essential role the birds play in the ecosystem. Kenya Wildlife Service is raising concern that the scavengers are fast facing extinction.
In Kenya alone, we are blessed to have 8 species. And out of these species, we have white-backed vulture, white-headed vulture, hooded vulture, Ruppel's vulture, Egyptian vulture, lappet-faced vulture, bearded vulture, and also palm-night vulture.
Other than poisoning and human-wildlife conflict, habitat loss and degradation, decreasing food availability and electrocution by power line poles are some of the threats facing the vultures.
Some of the threats that are facing these vultures include wildlife poisoning. We have human-wildlife conflict, so you might find people whose animals were killed by, let's say, lions. They would poison the carcass, and then the vulture eats and becomes collateral damage, then they die.
The 61%, which are normally usually mostly poisoned is because of two reasons. One, they consume carcasses of livestock that have been lost due to issues to do with lions, hyenas, and other carnivores.
Hell's Gate National Park is one of the main breeding areas for some of the 8 species of the vultures in the country, with statistics indicating that there are over 2,000 of the birds in the country.
Many of these places that Kenyans were missing because the domestic traveler has always been dear to us through the Tembea Kenya, rallying the call to Tembea Kenya for over the years, we have seen a big difference in terms of the way Kenyans have embraced traveling in the destination.
According to the KWS, other than their role in the food chain, vultures also aid in catching poachers as they quickly cycle above the carcass left behind. Hence, there is need to sensitize communities in and around wildlife conservation areas. Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
In other news, a family from Mishamoroni, Mombasa County is seeking financial help to enable their daughter undergo jaw surgery at Kijabe Mission Hospital. Leonara Nyambura started ailing in 2016 and doctors diagnosed her condition as ossifying fibroma of the left mandible.
10-year-old Leonara Nyambura cannot talk. Her lower jaw on the left side is swollen. Her mother, Riziki Kazungu Karisa, says she can only eat food in liquid form and in small portions.
2017 tukarudi, akaenda akatolewa sample, akaenda ikapimwa kuangaliwa kama ni ugonjwa gani.
In 2016, Leonara started complaining of pain in her mouth and a small swelling formed. She was treated at a nearby clinic, but soon thereafter her condition worsened and she was taken to Coast General Hospital for further tests.
Wakaona hakuna ugonjwa, lakini sasa ni ile uvimbe inafura, inajaa mpaka sasa hii imejaa kwa mdomo. Wameendelea kumwangalia mpaka hii mwezi wa 7 wakanituma Kijabe.
She was diagnosed with ossifying fibroma of the left mandible, a slow-growing benign lesion of bone most commonly associated with the jaw. Doctors in Mombasa said she needs surgery and referred her to Kijabe Mission Hospital.
Nilienda Kijabe tarehe 30 mwezi wa 7. Kijabe wakamwangalia, wakasema ni upasuaji mpaka afanywe operation. Lakini operation yenyewe inahitaji pesa nyingi. Inahitaji 350,000. Na mimi kulingana na uwezo, sina uwezo kwa sababu sina kazi ya maana ya kuweza kumfanyisha mtoto operation. Hata wanapika tu maandazi ya kumshughulikia. Babake pia hana kazi ya maana, ni mtu wa kibarua ya mjengo, anaenda anapata, saa nyingine anakosa.
Well-wishers can send donation through M-Pesa on mobile number 0717454586. I repeat the number 0717454586.
And the number is 0717454586. Let's help the little girl get the kind of assistance she requires. And of course, for more details on how you could help Leonara, then you can even send us direct messages on Twitter, on Facebook, and we can help you reach out to the family. In other news, residents of Kinyona in Kigumo constituency, Murang'a County, are crying foul, accusing the Chinese contractor working on the Mau Mau Road of sidelining locals when recruiting workers for the project. The locals say many young people in the area are unemployed and their hopes of securing temporary contracts were dashed after the contractor opted to source for labor from outside the area. These and more stories in the news making headlines in the counties.
Since construction of 540 kilometers of Mau Mau Road, that is connecting 5 counties of the central Kenya region, was commissioned, locals have been yearning for the project to begin so that they can secure casual employment. But they claim the Chinese contractor has gone against the stipulated rule that 70% of jobs must be allocated to locals. Women also accuse the contractor of gender bias.
When a road is being done, 70% of the people, and it's in the contract in black and white, should go to the...
In Kericho County, farmers in Kipkelion are counting losses after the National Youth Service officials destroyed maize crops which they had cultivated along the railway line. According to the resident, they had been authorized to use the land temporarily by the Kenya Railways to plant maize.
Tulikuwa tumepewa mashamba haya na shirika la reli, na walikuwa wametupatia tulime, tumelima mahindi kwa mwaka, tulikuwa tunatarajia kuvuna labda baada ya mwezi mmoja.
Elsewhere, the Ministry of Education has been faulted for not involving members of Parliament and Constituency Development Fund committees in their schools inspection. Manyata Member of Parliament John Mushiri appealed to Education CS George Magoha not to sideline key stakeholders in the education sector and have their input before learning resumes early next year.
A multi-sectoral team ifanywe in every county ama in every constituency. Halafu tuna inspect shule zetu sote tujue where we can come in. Instead of putting dining halls, tujue ile kitu inahitajika sana for now, and especially in our secondary schools, ni classrooms.
Meanwhile, Kajiado County legislators are calling on the government to beef security along the porous Kajiado County borders that often pit locals against their neighbors.
Mwizi ni mwizi. Kama ni mwizi wa ng'ombe, akiwa nani ama nani ni mwizi, na wanaibia Wakikuyu, wanaibia Wamasai, na akabiliwe iwezekanavyo.
Elsewhere, 47 cows that are part of the 87 animals stolen in Tiamamut village along the border of Isiolo and Laikipia counties have been recovered. The animals, which were stolen from Loibara Ole Mosiani's Manyata, were traced to Liarata area near Wamba in Samburu County.
Ng'ombe kama 20 hakuna, na bado utarudia kufuata vile na wazee.
Finally, in Mombasa, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Cooperatives, Ali Noor, has urged savings and credit societies, SACCOs, not to undertake punitive measures to their members which have been unable to pay back their loans in stipulated time due to financial constraints occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic.
We have a number of policy initiatives that are in the pipeline. As we all know, the National Cooperative Policy was approved by the Cabinet, and we have now pushed it to the National Assembly as a sessional paper and is waiting discussion at Parliament, after which then we will go ahead to implement by reviewing the Cooperative Societies Act.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Crossing our borders, Sudan's Security and Defense Council has declared a national state of emergency for 3 months because of floods that have killed 99 people this year. Meanwhile, more than 875,000 people globally have died from COVID-19. Details of this and other stories in our international news roundup.
Sudan's Security and Defense Council has also designated Sudan a natural disaster zone. The Sudanese Minister of Labor and Social Development said in addition to the deaths, floods this year has injured 46 people, inflicted damage on more than 500,000 people, and caused the total and partial collapse of more than 100,000 homes. Elsewhere, more than 875,000 people have died from COVID-19, the disease caused by the new coronavirus, while over 26.6 million infections have been confirmed in at least 188 countries and territories. More than 17.7 million people have recovered to date. India's total coronavirus cases surged beyond 4 million, with a record size making it the third country in the world to surpass that mark, following the United States and Brazil. The 86,432 cases added in the past 24 hours pushed India's total to 4,023,179, while Brazil has confirmed 4,091,801 infections. The US has 6,200,186 people infected, according to Johns Hopkins University. In Australia, police have made dozens of arrests amid anti-lockdown protests attended by hundreds nationwide. In Melbourne, the centre of Australia's outbreak, about 300 people marched in defiance of tough measures that have been in place for a month. Smaller protests took place in Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump is facing a backlash over reports he mocked American soldiers killed in action as losers and suckers. The alleged remarks were first reported in the Atlantic magazine, and some details were corroborated by the Associated Press and Fox News. Trump and his allies have denied he made the remarks. Veterans groups were among those who attacked the president over the reports. Finally, rescuers in the Lebanese capital have resumed work in a bid to determine if there is a person trapped under piles of debris of a building that collapsed a month ago following a deadly explosion. A month after the massive blast at Beirut's port devastated the city, a frantic search for a possible survivor entered its third day on Saturday after hopes of success had dwindled a day earlier.
You are watching Channel 1 Weekend this Saturday night, and Titus Waleka, you're saying you are tuned in to Channel 1 Weekend. Philin Wangeshi, you're saying that you are watching Channel 1 Weekend from Bomet County, and Joseph Wajeri, you're also watching from Oloitoktok border. Keep watching, keep talking to us. We are also live on Facebook and YouTube. Another break we'll do when we return. Sports news is up next. Stay tuned.
Next on.
The doctor said she has to stay in bed for a few days.
For my baby brother, right?
Yes, that's right, Diego.
And then I'll be able to take care of him, right?
We'll both take care of him. I'll be living with you in the meantime.
Yeah!
I've been so busy I didn't have time to enjoy my youth.
Well, it's never too late to get it back.
Oh.
What do you want? I'd like to talk. About what? How are you supporting yourself?
That's none of your business.
Oh, Osvaldo, please, let's forget it all already.
In love with Ramon.
Gear up and maintain a healthy, fit and active lifestyle right there at home by keeping up with Gear Up on Channel 1, 5:30 to 6 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Gear up every day for every moment, and remember to stay home and keep safe.
It's now time for the sports, and Kenya's Feres Jepchirchir today broke women-only world half marathon record after emerging victorious in the 2020 Prague half marathon in Czech Republic, clocking 1 hour 5 minutes and 34 seconds to smash previous record of 1 hour 6 minutes and 11 seconds set by Nesanet Gudeta of Ethiopia at the World Half Marathon Championships in 2018. Kibiwot Kandie won the men's title after clocking 58 minutes and 37 seconds.
Breaking away from the small field just 20 minutes into the race, Kenyan sensational athlete Paris Jepchirchir set out on a ravaging pace over 16.5 lap course in Prague's Letna Park, passing 10 kilometers in 30 minutes 32 seconds. She slowed over the warning laps but still finished well under the previous mark. This is Jepchirchir's second world record over the distance. She clocked 1 hour 5 minutes 6 seconds in a mixed race in Ras Al Khaimah in 2017, a record which stood for just under 2 months.
Breaks it with over half a minute. 65-35 for Paris Jepchirchir. She is the new women's only world record holder. What a performance here today.
Meanwhile, 2019 Lille Half Marathon champion Kibiwot Kandie won the Prague Half Marathon in a personal best of 58 minutes 37 seconds.
And here is Kandie Kibiwot doing an excellent performance, getting close to that 58:30 with a fantastic final lap. Runs a huge personal best and he runs 58:37. Fantastic time for Kandie Kibiwot. The 5th fastest time ever for Kandie Kibiwot. A very good result for him.
Yes, my wish is to run again when this pandemic is over, and it will be our pleasure to continue competing in the road races.
He was followed by fellow Kenyans Philemon Kiplimo and Benson Kipruto in the second and third positions, timing 59 minutes 56 seconds and 1 hour 6 seconds respectively.
Just break 60 minutes. Yes, it will just be under 60, and Benson will just not crack that barrier. He'll just be above 60.06 for him. He missed Philemon Kimayo's finish, but he was just under 60 seconds. And Amos Kurgat with a decent run, 16 for him.
Kenya Hockey Union Secretary General Wycliffe Ongori has said that the federation is ready to resume its activities in line with the government's measures to curb the spread of coronavirus. Ongori said that all hockey pitches will be fumigated together with changing rooms for players after every 2 weeks.
As hopes to resume sporting activities in Kenya remain alive, Kenya Hockey Union KHU has announced it is ready to resume its activities. KHU Secretary General Wycliffe Ongori has said that the federation will fumigate pitches and changing rooms to help curb the spread of COVID-19.
Stadium has been sanitized twice a week, on a Tuesday and on a Friday, consistently. And they were very impressed by what hockey was doing. Our changing rooms are sanitized. Yeah. Now, we even before that, after that meeting, we came and gave a list of protocols of what we are going to follow. And we used the FIH, MOH, and the WHO protocols of how we want to return. So to that extent, we have a document and we've sent it to the ministry. We are hoping that will be one of the sports beyond the 14 days from that day or beyond Monday that will be allowed to get back to play.
There are high hopes that sports activities would resume after the advisory committee met with Ministry of Health officials earlier this week to deliberate on the way forward.
We are not seeing how we are going to have funds. Yeah, we will lock out funds. We'll just leave officials so that we see how this pandemic pans out. Yeah, that is the immediate.
The proposed protocols for resumption of sports were released by Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed, and stakeholders including sports federations were given 7 days to review and give suggestions. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
Elsewhere, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya has finally collected kits that had been confiscated by Director of Criminal Investigations DCI following Rio fiasco. The 57 cartons of various kit items, including training and competition T-shirts, tracksuits and shoes from different teams, were handed over to NOC by the Assistant Superintendent of Police at DCI, Mike Muya, during a ceremony which was attended by the NOC Acting Secretary General Francis Mutuku and the Treasurer Eliud Kariuki. NOC expressed appreciation to the authorities for safe keeping and facilitating the collection of the kits. Elsewhere, Chelsea have signed attacking midfielder Kai Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen on a 5-year contract in a deal worth about £71 million. The German international has scored 36 goals and contributed 25 assists in 118 appearances for the Bundesliga club. He is Chelsea's second most expensive signing after Kepa Arrizabalaga joined from the Bilbao in 2018. Havertz, aged 21, in Blues manager Frank Lampard's 7th signing of the summer. He follows forward and compatriot Timo Werner, midfielder Hakim Ziyech, and fielders Xavier Buyamba, Malanga Sarr, Ben Chilwell, and Thiago Silva to Stamford Bridge. Sarr will be loaned out while Buyamba has gone into the Blues under-23 squad. World #1 tennis player Novak Djokovic moved comfortably into the U.S. Open 4th round, beating Jan-Lennard Struff in straight sets. And the 33-year-old Serb saw off the German 28th seed 6-3 and 6-3, 6-1 in the night session on Arthur Ashe Stadium. And Djokovic, seeking his 18th Grand Slam title, remains unbeaten in 2020 and has now extended his winning streak to 26. But Greek for the seat Stefanos Tsitsipas is out after blowing 6 match points against Bona Koric, and Koric won 6 successive games to send the match into a deciding set, which the Croatian won to complete a remarkable turnout: 6-7, 2-7, and 6-4 by 4-6, 7-5, 7-6, 7-4. Djokovic will play Spanish 20th seed Pablo Busta in the 4th round in New York. Finally, Argentinian soccer star Lionel Messi has said he will remain at Barcelona next season after performing a shock U-turn on his future by remaining at the Calatan club for the 4th and final year of his contract. Messi is in line for a £63 million loyalty bonus and will be able to leave without a transfer fee. Messi had informed the club of his desire to leave via an official note last week and did not turn up for the team's first 5 days of preseason training under new coach Ronald Koeman. And the 6th-time winner says he wants to leave Barcelona to compete at the highest level after a disappointing season, which culminated in 8-2 defeating to Bayern Munich in the UEFA Champions League. That sporting action brings us to the end of Channel 1 Weekend this Saturday night. I'm going through your feedback right away. Ferris Kemunto, you're saying you with Dennis Onyino, you're watching from Eldoret. And Joseph Felix, you also tuned in from Migori County. We also had Philemon Ngetich, you're saying you are watching from Narok. And Samson Villa also watching from Majengo. We also had William Mamburi was tuned in from Kilifi County. Thank you all for watching. It's always great to have you company. I'll see you again tomorrow, same place, same time. My name is Purity Museo, and of course we've had Byron as our sign language interpreter. Up next is weather forecast. Do stay tuned for that. God bless and have yourself a lovely night.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to Channel 1 Weather Updates. I hope you're well today. My name is Irene Mchuma Odem. Remember, weather experts told us that as we come to the close of the week, wet conditions will increase across the country, and this is coming to a reality. Tonight, there are showers in the capital, Central Highlands, the Lake Basin region, northwestern parts of the country, and the western parts of the country. But then, this is just over a few places This is because the month of September is characterized with dry weather conditions. The rest of the country has been covered with partly cloudy conditions, and that is how the night will be. Tomorrow, we will wake up to a rainy day here in the capital. Weather patterns that will also characterize Machakos, Nyeri, and Meru counties. It will not be so different from what we had today, and thus we need to get prepared for it. The northeastern parts of the country will mainly experience sunny conditions, but there will be rains in Mandera and Wajir during the early morning hours. At the coastal strip, sunny conditions will prevail. There will be scattered wet conditions in the county of Mombasa. The Lake Basin region and western parts of the country will mainly experience sunny conditions, but then there will be rains over a few places, and these will mainly affect Nakuru and Narok, and also a few areas over the northwestern parts of the country. In the afternoon, we'll see an increase of wet conditions over most parts of the country, and these will affect Eldoret, Kitale, Bungoma, Kisii, and a few areas along the border of Kenya and South Sudan, that is in the county of Lodwar. The northeastern parts of the country will continue to experience sunny conditions, weather patterns that will also prevail at the coastal strip. But for you in Nairobi, Meru, Nyeri, and Machakos, during the afternoon hours, there will be showers, and thus you will need your umbrella. Temperatures are fluctuating across the country. Mandera will experience highs of 35 degrees Celsius. The capital will experience highs of 24 degrees Celsius. How about we cross the borders and see how weather patterns are shaping up in the other parts of the world? Do have a good night and a blessed day ahead.